Well, on Wednesday mornings, we like to have a topic of discussion. We like to have a special guest on, and we've got probably like the the godfather of group of five guys, a guy that we love and respect more than anybody in this college football coaching world, our head coach, Rick Stockstill. Coach Stock, what's up, man?
How you
Welcome.
doing, Matt? Jeff, good to see you guys, man. Good to catch up with you.
It's great to see you.
I'm like giddy right now. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm on a.
Me too. Heck, I'm fired up. I see some familiar faces, guys. I love.
I'll say this, Coach. You look a little more tan than you normally do.
I think it's the lights.
Yeah.
But I hadn't had to put on a lot of sweatshirts here yet.
No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Well, Coach, so like one thing we've been talking about on the show quite a bit is this inconsistency. Right now, there's I don't know how many FBS, 10, 11 FBS head jobs already open. You obviously were at Middle 18 years. Do you ever think we'll see anybody? I think Troy Calhoun at Air Force is probably the only one right now that's been there longer than a few years. Do you think we'll ever see that again of somebody just building and staying at a program?
Yeah, man, I think it'll be tough, especially at the Power 5 level, because those guys are getting paid so much now. They're all getting 7, 8 to 10, 11, 12 million dollars a year. And, so you look at it from that standpoint, they don't have to work a long time, 15, 20 years, and, they're going to be taken care of pretty early. So they're getting paid so much now, but because they're getting paid so much and the money is coming from different people, outside athletic programs, that there's more pressure on, guys at the Power 5 or Power 4 level now, to win now. And so I think it's going to be harder for, like Coach Bowden was here 33 years at Florida State. Those days are over because of there's so much pressure and there's so much demand from a recruiting standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, all those things, that with the transfer portal and everything and having to go raise money for NIL, that there's not a whole lot of, personal time for guys, at this level anymore. Not that there ever was a lot, but there was more than what there is now. So I think you're going to see less and less of that at the Power 4 level. And then, the group of five, everything is a kind of a trickle down effect a little bit, that, you're not going to make the kind of money, as a head coach or an assistant coach at the group of five that you do, here at the Power 4 level. But you're still, the pressure to win in everything, that I think athletic directors, lose a little bit of patience, and make quicker decisions maybe before they should. And so I think it's going to be tough, just because the demands of the profession now, and there's so many young people now trying to get to the NFL as coaches, because there's not many days off anymore here at this level. So I think, Matt, you're going to see fewer and fewer coaches staying at places, more than 7 to 10 years probably.
Do you also think, like, while it might be easier for a quick rebuild with the portal, do you also think it's harder in a sense to sustain, like your coach Bobby Bowden, or like some of these guys that, or Nick Saban just recently? Like, it's probably a reason Nick Saban got out when he did. But do you think it's going to be more difficult to sustain, along with, at the same time, people are less patient to be a winner?
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And really, if you look at it, there's really no excuse, to say you have a young team anymore, because you can go fill your needs now, whatever you need at whatever position, you can go out and get that now. and not have to wait 2 years, 3 years to develop those guys. So the excuse of we're a young team, you can't say that as much now as you could in the past as you were waiting to develop them. So you need a quarterback, you need an offensive line, you need a defensive line. There's so many people in the portal now, not right now, but in the portal when it opens, that you can go out there and you can get your needs, your immediate needs right now. And then that's where I think you need a mature, a confident, I don't want to say an established, but a coach that's been in the business, that understands how to develop a culture, because most teams are bringing in anywhere from 40 to 60 to 70 new guys every year. And you really need a strong coach, a strong staff, and the players you bring in, you've got to make sure you bring in good leaders to help set in your culture, because you bring in that many people, there's a lot of individuals in that group that, I'm not here for the love of Florida State or whatever school they're going to, I'm here for me. And there's going to be others that are going to be your culture setters and speak your language, coming out of your mouth in the locker room. So I just think you need a really strong, mature staff. And then you've got to be, there's a lot of good players in the portal, and you got to make sure you're bringing in the right ones. And like Coach Saban said, I think it was last year, he said, yeah, you can pay these guys, but make sure you're paying the right guys. And, I think that's really, really critical and really important. And you look at the teams across the country that are heavy in the portal that are having success, it's, they've been able to set their culture, the standards, their expectations with what they want within their program.
Yeah, I think establishing a culture is more vital now than ever. And being able to evaluate that on the front end of the guys is one of the most important things too, because you can't bring in a bunch of guys that don't fit it. But you got to have the right staff and admin and all those guys in place to kind of decipher that. You talked about the turnover we're having every single year in rosters. We've seen some pretty bad football this year. It feels like more than ever. And to me, it kind of seems like everything's being dumbed down to a certain point from a playbook standpoint. Am I just assuming that, or am I misreading that, or have you kind of seen that the same? Because when you're teaching an entire new playbook and roster every single year to new guys, you're kind of starting at ground zero, are you not?
Yeah, you're right, Jeff, and you guys know, because you've heard it, that everybody in the NFL, all the terminology is the same, basically the same. It may mean a little bit something different, because most of those guys stay there, 3 years, 4 years, and they're free agents and they go somewhere else. Or somebody gets hurt and they're bringing somebody in off the Titans, practice squad. And so the teaching part of it, everybody's about the same because you don't have them as long. Now, conversely, with colleges, us now, that you're getting new players every year. Some of those guys aren't getting there. Some are getting there in January for spring practice. Others aren't getting there till the summer. And that's why I think you see so many, highs and lows, inconsistencies the early part of the year, because the quarterback may have just got there this summer. The offensive line, half the offensive line just got there this summer, and it takes time for them to gel together. So I think part of it is that, and then injuries, have always played a part, but I don't think it's as much that as now as you're getting into the back end of the season, is as much as it is those guys, how they're handling adversity. and we've had a tough stretch there. And do guys start looking at themselves? What can I get for me? And across the country, that you lose a couple games, it goes back to the culture that you set. So I just think there's so many factors in it, but especially early in the year, Jeff, quarterbacks just getting there in the summer, and really coaches also, like, they didn't have this guy as a freshman and a sophomore, and they don't. I know what Matt can do. I know what Jeff can do. They're having to figure that out a little bit. I just got him. What is he really good at? And it takes time to find out what your team, is good at and what they not good at.
Coach, you mentioned injuries, and I know that's something, when we were at middle, and then, after we left and in the past, like, injuries seem to really come into play, and depth, especially in the group of five. If one, if two offensive linemen go down, then you're playing a freshman or a guy you wanted to redshirt or a walk-on, or somebody's going to get some playing time that normally wouldn't. Are you seeing that more at, all the way up into the highest levels, even the schools, the top programs, the Alabamas, the Notre Dames, where guys are not willing to sit? And so there's a little more parity, but everybody's having some depth issues.
Yeah, and I go back to when I was at middle, Matt. I always said that, an injury at Middle Tennessee devastates us. An injury at Florida State hurts them, because we're having to sign, a 6'3", 260-pound offensive lineman and hope, in a year he's 275, and, his redshirt sophomore year, now he's 300. You have to evaluate and project. So a lot of times somebody gets hurt, you're playing a younger guy that's not physically ready to play, that game. Whereas here, or Florida State Power 4, you lose a guy. They recruited a 5-star, 4-star guy that's behind him, that's already physically ready to compete. He may not be quite as good, but physically he's ready to go. And, that was I remember those, playing Alabama, we lost three guys, 2 on defense and 1 on offense, starters for the year. And you play all those, it wasn't because anything Alabama did bad or anything. It's just the longer the game goes, their physicality, and they've got more, bodies than we have. And then when you get into your conference play at the group of 5, playing all those Power 4 guys, you don't have the same team you had, at the beginning of the year, so that's different. And then what was I going to say? And then the Power 4 guys, most of the Power 4 now, when you can have 105 on scholarship, now you're recruiting a lot of other guys, that the group of 5 can't, because they're not, I don't know many out there. Maybe the schools in the American can, but, I don't know how many in the Sun Belt and the MAC and Conference USA can have 105 on scholarship, where the Power 4s can. So that's a lot, 20 more people that you've got on your team that, the group of 5s don't.
Go ahead, Jeff.
No, I was just going to say, it's just, it's frustrating, to watch the state of college football that it's in. But still love it. Still going to games, tuning in. And
greatest game ever, and still is. And everybody can like or dislike the portal. They can like or dislike NIL, but on Saturdays, we all sit in that chair and just, man, this is the greatest. There's always something that, man, this is great, and you come back on Monday, you talk about it all week, and it's the greatest game out there. And it's going to be Thanksgiving here pretty soon, and it goes by so fast. Seems like it takes forever to get here, but
Yeah.
You know, we're down the last, 4 weeks of it.
Well, I got a question before we let you go. With we talked about at the beginning this coaching carousel, the domino effect of that. My question is, when the hell are we going to see Rick Stockstill back on the sideline with the headset and the notepad and the play sheet?
Come on.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Matt. Now, I'm an offensive analyst here, so I get to coach a little bit, not near as much as I want. I miss the relationships with the players and staff and all that. So in December, I'm going to try to, throw my name out there, and maybe some of the group of five positions may open up, or a power four assistant somewhere, but I'm itching to get back in it. I want to get back in it. I know I can still have an impact on kids or young people in a program, in a school. And, I'm not ready to ride off in the sunset. Still got a lot left in the tank. And I just want to get out there and, impact kids or in a program. So hopefully soon, Matt.
Man, there'd be nothing better than to see that.
Let me tell you something. We'll be doing a lot. I don't care where it is. We'll be doing a lot. If it's in the group of five, we'll be doing a live show. We'll be at camp. We'll be at spring practice. We'll be doing all of it, man.
That'd
I will tell
awesome.
you, I will say this, Coach, while you're here, and like Jeff will echo this. Like, speaking of impacting, I mean, we talk about you every day almost, and the impact you made on, a guy that was a freaking walk-on that played in one series.
And went on scholarship.
It's damn right I did.
You earned a scholarship.
You're damn right.
There you go. I don't want anybody.
And you know what else? You know what I appreciate about that too, Coach, is you didn't make a big, nowadays they put these walk-ons on scholarship and they make it a big social media thing. And I get it. It's cool. But it was just come to the office, me and old Tom Campbell, we got up there together. And then you told us not to broadcast it, and Lance Campbell opened your door and started shouting to everybody that we got on scholarship. But no, I mean we appreciate you and everything you did for us, and
Well, feelings mutual. I love and respect you guys and everybody there that went through our program for all those years. So, and that's what, like I said, that's what I miss. At the end of the day, yeah, winning is important. You got to win games, but just the impact that you try to have on players is what's special about the coaching profession. And it doesn't matter if you're here at Florida State or at Middle Tennessee or any school in the country. At any level. Coach Bowden used to always say a coach will impact more people in a year than most people will in a lifetime. And I always remembered that and tried to live that. So I'm honored to say I was your coach and proud of you and love and respect the heck out of you guys.
Well, your impact was immeasurable on so many lives, and we love you forever, Coach. We appreciate you coming on.